Hey everyone, what's going on? And welcome to my mobile gaming library. I did a video like this almost a year ago now, back in June. Maybe it was 2 years ago now. I don't quite remember. And I had a lot of mobile gaming videos on my channel, and I still do have a lot of mobile gaming videos on my channel. I play a lot of mobile games. I enjoy mobile games. So yeah, I wanted to update this little library video of mine. I don't want my channel to only be mobile games, and if you come to my Twitch stream, I play a lot more than mobile games, though I do sometimes stream some mobile games. If I have the ability to stream them, like play them on my PC and stream them, I will stream those, and sometimes we just hang out on stream, we just sit around and talk, and I talk about mobile games, because that's usually what I'm doing while I'm just sitting there talking with chat. But that aside, I do play a lot more than mobile games. Play a lot of Apex, play Final Fantasy XIV, play other RPGs and stuff, but I do play a lot of mobile games. I do really enjoy mobile games, and like I did a video, like I said, it was about a year ago now, showing my gaming library, and that wasn't really complete. A lot of games I had played in the past weren't on that list, but even though they weren't on that list, I still did play them. I've added some of those, I've added some that I've checked out since then, so on and so forth, and I will say, I rewatched that video a little bit before recording this to see what I said, how I did it, and you know, I don't agree with a lot of my past opinions, which I'll get into a little bit. But starting off, this is the list. This is the you know, the main thing going on. You can see, for the most part, what my library consists of. I will kind of break this down a little bit. I have my active games. These are the games that I'm pretty much playing daily. I do actively play. Semi-active are games that I might log into daily, or I'll log into every other day, or I log in on a regular basis of some extent, but I may not necessarily play. I was tempted to take Bleach here and put it in active because I have been playing it a decent bit, but I decided to leave it in semi-active because in comparison to those two right there that are inactive, I'm just not playing it as much. The games that are on break are games that I really love, that I will probably continuously and always play. In my last video, I spoke about Opera Omnia and how I will probably always play it. The same applies to Genshin for that matter. But right now, I'm taking a break. I'll probably talk about that a bit more in a minute. The on-off section are games that I very heavily think that I will play again, or I will download and do something with again, because they're games I did really enjoy, or maybe they just are interesting to me, or I have a connection to them. Like, out of all of the games in this on and off section, as I named it, Treasure Cruise here is the one that I probably don't really enjoy as much, that I don't really want to play as much, but I have a friend that really likes One Piece, and I love One Piece, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love One Piece. And it's probably the best One Piece game you can get on the mobile market right now, I'd say. And so he talks me into playing it with him every now and then, so I log on and play every now and then, so that's why I'm putting it there. Until we get a better One Piece game on the market, it's probably going to be in that spot. I feel like these last couple, or this very last one especially, makes sense. Games that aren't out and games that I'm looking forward to and keeping my eye on. There's probably a couple more in this category that I just haven't actually looked into, or I don't know if they're coming out. So obviously the most question mark section, because there are some games that I've probably missed that are coming out that I would like to keep an eye on. But these are the main ones that I know of. This one's been here and was in this slot a year ago and is still here. I don't know if it's ever going to actually release, but I am watching it. PC port, I'll get to that one when I come down to this game. And then Retired. I'll go ahead and talk about this real quick. The Retired section of the games, or of the list here, are games that I do enjoy, that were games that usually would have fallen in my on-off section, or even up there in active, semi-active, you know? They're games that I would play, I do enjoy playing, but they are games that have been shut down, or are shutting down. So playing them is not a feasible thing now because of that. It's a really sad category, but I wanted to give them an honorable mention, an honorable category to their own, because I thought they were really fun games. Really enjoyed them to whatever extent. and I'm sad to see that they're no longer in service or playable. Chief among those, Dragalia Lost. I absolutely loved Dragalia Lost. I'm really sad that it's being shut down. It's not shut down yet as of this recording, but it will be in a few months, unless something changes, which, I'm hoping something changes. Or we get good news in the Dragalia Lost territory. Mobius Final Fantasy, I really enjoyed it when it came out. I played it a decent bit. I think the reason I stopped playing it as much was just because playing too many games, and I enjoyed it, but not enough to keep playing it with everything else I was playing at the time. But it was a game I had intentions of coming back to, but before I ever could come back to it, it was retired. It was end of service. Tales of Crestoria, loved the game. I thought it was a really good Tales story, while still being a little weird with the other Tales characters actually appearing within the said Tales story. That part was a little strange, but overall, the unique characters that were, unique to Tales of Crestoria, that were the main characters of Tales of Crestoria, were really interesting characters, or enjoyable characters, I guess I could say. I'm really going to be sad to not be able to keep playing that, and I never actually got to finish the story for it, so another sad point. I actually don't know if the story finished, so yeah, that's why that category exists, because I wanted to give an honorable mention to those games, because I enjoyed them, but unfortunately they just didn't see a long lifespan of fruition. So rest in peace, Dragalia Lost, Mobius Final Fantasy, Tales of Crestoria. There's one more section here at the bottom you can see, but we'll get to that at the very end. Not too much to say there. So let me go over my mobile gaming list. Let me go over this library of mine. My active games are the games that I play almost daily. I play like all the time, and I just greatly enjoy these games. So first one here is Slime Tensura Isekai Memories. When this game came out, let me back up. This game was on my watched section down there on the last time I did this video. And then it came out about 6 months ago, as of this recording, when they are celebrating their 6-month anniversary. 6 months ago, the game came out. I played it for about a month and a half. The game needed a lot of work. It was not a good game. It really wasn't. It had its okay points. It definitely needed work. And so I stopped playing it. Fast forward 6 months, I see the 6-month anniversary's going on. They got some free stuff going on. So I was like, alright, I'll download it. Let me see how it's doing at 6 months. And I gotta say, for 6 months, they've improved a decent bit. Like, some of my complaints are still there. I think there are still a lot of improvements that can be made to the game. But I think at the core, it's a fun and good game now. Whereas when it launched, I couldn't say a lot in its benefit. Now, I can say some things. It's a fun game. It has content. I think the difficulty spike in the game is still a bit annoying and could be polished up a bit. But I still say it's a good game, and if you get over that difficulty spike, if you're able to overcome it, or circumvent it in some way, you're good. It does have a little bit more friendliness to whales than it does free-to-play players, and that is saddening, because free-to-play players make up the majority of your player base in most of these games. So it's good to see love for them, and now they are doing that. There is a lot of free-to-play love, which I'll talk about in just a moment, but it does sometimes feel like the game does skew in favor of their whales sometimes. But on the topic of the free-to-play players, if you were playing this game from launch up to the 6 month, you actually have several free, max level 100 6-star characters and gear for them, and you're actually probably doing really, really well for yourself. So I didn't, and I'm obviously hurting because of that slightly, but because I'm not strictly a free-to-play player, I am able to get around that couple months of not playing. So there's a lot of love in the game towards their player base, and you might start off slow, but if you steady play it and you just kind of keep it as a side game for a little while, you can build up to being really strong just by casually playing the game. And I think that really speaks volumes to the game. I'm not going to say it's a good game. I'm not going to say it's a great game. I'm not going to say it's a bad or terrible game. I'm going to say it's an okay game, and I think it has potential to be something really good. I would like to see a little bit more of an update to the animation department in the game. That feels really lazily done, so maybe some, like, I guess, graphical updates down the line, if that's possible, would be really cool to see. Second game here in the active category is Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross. It's still one of the bigger games on the mobile game market last time I checked, and the game, let me start this way. A year ago, or however long ago when I recorded this, I talked about how much I loved Netmarble, how much I respected Netmarble, and I appreciated this game. That's not the case anymore. I don't trust Netmarble about as far as I can throw them. I have a lot of negative opinions with Netmarble after this last year or so of playing this game in particular. They have taken some pretty poor decisions and poor turns. The game went from being a game a free-to-play player could download, could play, could compete in, could enjoy, to almost being so vastly skewed towards whales and wanting you to spend money. It's painful. It's unbearably painful. That being said, the game is still really fun. The game design is still really well, like, done. It's a good design. The gameplay mechanics and how things work is good. I think some of the things they do to make content difficult is dumb and it's gimmicky, and that's not cool, and relies a little too much on the RNG built into their own game system. So it has its downsides, and there actually are a lot of downsides I could point out to it and a lot of things I could complain about with the game. But I want to say at the end of the day, it is a fun game. It is a good game to play. It is an enjoyable game to play. And I think at its launch, it was a peak mobile game. Like if you wanted to show somebody what a mobile game was capable of in terms of enjoyment and what you could do, Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross would be the game you should show them, because it was polished so well. Now, it still has that, I suppose, but it's so lost in everything going on with the constant banners, the constant limited banners, the constant just wanting you to spend money, and them making units now that favor whales because they only get certain things on their skill, or well, ultimate skills, when you 6/6 them. So it's fallen in terms of would I recommend showing this as the, here, let me show you what mobile games can do. That being said, I still think it's a fun game. I still think if they let go of the greediness, that is, like, Netmarble lets go of that greed a little bit and kind of goes back into their roots of, you know, making things a little nicer for their free-to-play players and whatnot, it could still be one of the best mobile games out there. I think it's really fun. And at the end of the day, I just love Seven Deadly Sins. Like, these two games up in the active category are really big franchises to me. Like, Tensura is probably one of my, like, top 5, top 3 anime. And then Seven Deadly Sins is up there as far as, like, my shonen anime go to. I love it. I'm reading Knights of the Apocalypse right now on a weekly basis as chapters come out. And I'm really excited to see, because they say when Grand Cross gets to that point, they are going to start implementing Knights of the Apocalypse as well. Or so I'm told. I don't know if that was confirmed by Netmarble. With these two games, I also want to point out they each have their own original story written for the game that's not in the anime or manga. And I'm going to say Tensura's is the characters, like the unique individual characters of Shinsa and Isis. They're cool. They're okay. More so Shinsa than Isis. But very enjoyable characters. The story overall, at least thus far, has been kind of lackluster. It's been what it's there for, and that's kind of disappointing. It's been used as a gimmick to make unique versions or instances of characters that aren't canon that you wouldn't normally see, and that's just it doesn't feel like the story itself has gotten the same creativity or love that the character design in those instances have. So now, whereas Grand Cross is Ragnarok, and Ragnarok is amazing. Like, the story in Ragnarok is actually really good. It feels right at home in Seven Deadly Sins, and sometimes it feels like it should be a canon story. It's so enjoyable. Just like, if you enjoyed watching Seven Deadly Sins or reading Seven Deadly Sins and you liked that story, you would love Ragnarok. The characters are good, the story's good, you really want to see where it goes. It is a little disappointing that the story technically takes place before you get the Sins at some of their better iterations, but what can you do? I still think they did really well with that, and everything still works good in and of itself. So Ragnarok, really well done. If you're a fan of Seven Deadly Sins, like as the franchise, as the manga or the anime, I recommend playing Grand Cross, if anything, just to try and play and enjoy the Ragnarok story. It's really good. I don't have a whole lot to say about this next category, that being the semi-active, because at the end of the day, they're games that I, sometimes will play occasionally, I re-downloaded Fate Grand Order mostly because I heard about the pity system that finally got added to JP, and I was like, maybe there's hope the game will finally get some changes to make it good, I guess I want to say, because the game's not bad, but make it something that you can actually play and enjoy when 90% of your roster is limited. It's not at that point yet, and we haven't got the pity on the global version yet. That's still like 2 years out, but even then the pity system alone isn't enough to do it. But I do like Fate as a franchise, I really do, and I really hope the game will eventually see those changes. So I've kind of downloaded it and kind of been playing to try and prep for that eventuality, I guess. Not a whole lot. Epic 7 was just kind of on a whim. It's there. I usually log in like once a week or so, maybe twice, mess around a little bit, and then call it a day. So I love the art for Epic 7. Some of the characters are nice, I guess, but I don't really know why I decided to re-download it, and I decided to play it as semi-actively as I do, I guess. But Pokemon has constantly just been logged into, really, so it really deserves that semi-active spot. Like, even though I don't play it a whole lot, I constantly log into it, and I just enjoy Pokemon. Honestly, there was a point when I was losing my love for Pokemon as a series, as I guess a franchise, and it's in part to Pokemon Masters that I didn't lose it, and I was able to kind of regain that a little bit. Arknights has a festival thing going on, or anniversary thing going on, and that kind of brought me into it because free stuff, and yeah, I'm enjoying it again. And that's in part thanks to some friends helping me, build my team up, tell me what to do, direct me, and yeah, I'm enjoying it a little bit more than I was. So it might stay here for a while this time. I love Bleach. Bleach is great. Brave Souls is a good game. I think it does well for its free-to-play player base in terms of what it gives you, but at the same time it releases stuff so fast, and sometimes you get some big things right back to back, and there's no way to guarantee a character that you want. You can guarantee a chance at a character, but you can't guarantee a character. And I think the game kind of hurts because of that, because nowadays a pity system where you can guarantee yourself a specific character is kind of commonplace in a game. So it is hurt by the fact that you can't guarantee the character you're going for. So there is that. And honestly, if I could guarantee myself a character, it would incentivize me to save up those free-to-play orbs and stuff in the game. But unfortunately, that's not the case, so I end up spending them just in hopes of getting some of these cool characters that I want along the way. And because at the end of the day, I'm not guaranteed to get the character I want when that banner comes out, no matter how many orbs I put into it. So, yeah, there is that. I will say, while I am recording this, I do have it running on my phone right now, doing some missions, building up some orbs as I try to summon for Spirits Are Forever with You Beyond Bankai Kisuke. So there's some cool things to it. I am excited to see what the game does with the Return of Bleach set for later this year, I think. So that's exciting. Really curious to see how that goes. I think I already spoke on the break category, but I'll speak on it again a little bit. Opera Omnia. As I said last time I did this video, one of my all-time favorite games I've ever played as far as, mobile games go, and even up there in terms of some actual games, because it plays more like an actual game at the end of the day, not so much a mobile game. The gacha is there, but you can almost play the game and consider the gacha irrelevant because it's so easy to get the stuff that you want. Majority of the things in the game, you don't even have to touch the gacha to get, technically. So it's really nice. And the most powerful weapons in the game. The strongest thing in the game, even in JP to this date, are all gotten not by touching the gacha. You have to play the game to get those. That's really nice. So, and getting characters isn't what the gacha is not locked behind the gacha. You can just get the characters using them a little bit locked behind the gacha, I guess, because you need their weapons. But as I said, most of those you can still get without touching the gacha technically. And a gacha game that doesn't feel like a gacha game, I think, is actually peak gacha game design, because you don't have to rely on RNG to be able to enjoy the game, I guess. So I've praised Opera Omnia in a number of places and a number of times, and I continue to do so. So it stays right here as a game that I will always play. Right now, I kind of burned myself out on it a little bit, and I needed to take a break. Otherwise, I did risk threatening my enjoyment of this game going forward. With Genshin I love the gameplay, I love everything about it. It's a very enjoyable game. The characters are fantastic, the story is interesting. I just have to take a break every now and then. I have to wait for interesting things to come out, or something to really make me want to play. So it's on a break right now. I played a good bit when Ayato came out at the beginning of 2.6, I think it was, and 2.7 is on the horizon, or just launched, I don't remember. And I think I'm going to take a decent little break through this patch cycle and come back at 2.8 and probably farm Prima Gems and stuff as I suffer trying to roll for whatever character they decide to release. And I just want to throw in here, because I say it on Twitter all the time, Baizhu win, Dendro is a lie, it doesn't actually exist, give me Baizhu. That being said, moving on. The on and off section of my game list, I said it when I was describing the section, are games that I will probably play again at some point, or I do really enjoy and would like to go back to at some point, and of that nature. I will point out here on the on and off, because it has the largest number of them, like Genshin, Honkai, and the 3 games here at the end of this list, the Shadowverse, Master Duel, and Arena. Though there are games you can download on mobile, they are games that I play on my PC. I would recommend you play them on PC primarily, or anything else, before playing them on mobile. The card games here at the end, Shadowverse, Master Duel, and Arena and whatnot, do play pretty well on the mobile, but like Honkai and Genshin, yeah, no, I would avoid that. Overall, now I won't say a whole lot on this entire category. Good games for the most part down the board. Some better than others, some more free-to-play friendly, some not very free-to-play friendly, I would say. It depends on the perspective, but I won't say a whole lot on any of these games per se. I do think they're all very enjoyable, and even maybe worth giving a shot if you haven't tried some of them. They're pretty good. So the PC port section. There's one game here. I made it for this game. Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier. It's the Battle Royale Final Fantasy VII themed Battle Royale game. Downloaded it day of launch. Played it for about a day, 2 days. I think this game is very fun. Now, my history of Battle Royales is, for a long time, I was not a fan of the idea. Now, however, if you've been around my Twitch channel, I play a lot of Apex Legends. I love Apex Legends. And I've been open to the idea of Battle Royale games, and come to enjoy them to an extent. First Soldier is very fun, but dear God, playing this on mobile is just so annoying. If I had a PC port, and I'll even say if I had a console port, that's fine, but if I had some kind of port to a stronger system than a phone, and where I can plug in a controller and play, I would probably play this game so much. Probably more than I play the games that are in the active section of this list right now, because it has the potential to be a very fun game. It really does. But that, I just can't do that on mobile. I just cannot play this game on mobile. And the same thing would be said if Genshin was only on a mobile. If it was only mobile, I would need the PC port or console port to actually be able to play it. So I spoke on the retired section, the watching section. These are games that are coming out that have my eye. I'm going to talk about them in kind of a random order here, so bear with me. Diablo, I don't remember what the actual suffix for the title is, I think it's like Immortal or something like that, has been coming out for almost 4 years, I think now, and it's still not out. I think it may never actually come out, but there's a chance. I'm a huge Diablo fan. If you've been around my channel long enough, which, I mean, you have to have been around a very long time at this point, you know I love Diablo. So, hopefully that game's good. Hopefully it actually comes out. And when it does, maybe you'll see something from me on it. I don't know. If you come by my Twitch, you'll definitely hear something about it. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, I'm giving it a shot because I like Final Fantasy. I like Final Fantasy VII, and I give mobile games a chance. So it looks pretty good. So I'm curious. So we'll see. I guess my hopes aren't high, but give it a shot. So Ni no Kuni, I don't remember the actual full title for it. I had it on here just because I like Ni no Kuni and I wasn't really gonna give it too much of a shot. However, Giguk, Garnt of Trash Taste, got to show it off on stream one time. Thanks to Netmarble, and I hung out and watched. I lurked in his Twitch stream and watched it, and I have to admit it looks kind of fun. The gacha system that's in there seems unnecessary, but it's there just from the little bit I saw, so I am hopeful it'll be a fun game, and I'm very interested to try it when it does come out. And thankfully it does look like a game that'll have a PC port, so I will probably be able to stream it if I do, or at the very least I'll probably be able to enjoy it a little bit more than this type of game would be enjoyed on a phone for me. So I do have my eye on it, and I'm very excited to see it come out. Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. I believe the JP version of the game is out. It may not be. I know there's a global version coming. I just don't know if it releases simultaneously with the JP or not. I'm watching this because I like Jujutsu Kaisen. I am a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen. If you follow me on Twitter, you know this. If you've been around my stream, you probably know this, but definitely if you follow me on Twitter. That being said, the little bit I've seen of previews of the game does not make it look fun. It does not look like a game that I will actually enjoy playing. So I don't anticipate really playing it or enjoying it that much. Now that being said, the previews could just be poorly done or not appropriately show what the game is capable of. And I'll admit that the preview for Isekai Memories up there at the top at Slime at first didn't really appeal to me that much. So it's a game I enjoy now, though that took about 6 months to become that. So there's a chance Phantom Parade here, Jujutsu Kaisen might fall into that same category. We'll see. I want it to be good. I don't really expect it to be, but I want it to be because I like Jujutsu Kaisen. Octopath Traveler, Champions of the Continent. I'm a big fan of Square, not just Final Fantasy, and I liked Octopath Traveler a lot. I'm curious to see what becomes of this game. That's really all there is to it. I think it is already out in Japan. I think it's actually been out for a year in Japan. We don't have the global version yet, but it is coming out soon, I believe. So I'm probably going to try it out. I'm going to be hopeful it's a fun game. I'm interested to see. I do like the game, Octopath Traveler, that is. And so in honor of my enjoyment of that game that I still need to finish, don't worry about that, I will give this a try too, and hopefully I'll be able to enjoy all of it. Even though I haven't finished the regular actual Octopath Traveler, I'll get to it eventually, I promise. Now the last one here that I haven't talked about is Black Clover mobile game. I don't think it has an actual title yet. I just know it's the Black Clover mobile game. I do know it's being made by Vic Studios, and the person in charge of Vic was somebody that worked at Netmarble and worked on Grand Cross when it came out, and it was super free to play friendly. So I'm really, really hopeful. There is another Black Clover game in this list that I'll show briefly at the end. that not very fun, not very enjoyable. This one I'm hoping will be fun and enjoyable. I like Black Clover. The thing is with Black Clover, I don't think it has quite as much to pull from as, say, Grand Cross or Seven Deadly Sins does, but I still think you have a lot of potential for a fun game in and of itself in that regard. And there's a lot of characters, so, you can do a lot. And, there's some smaller characters that you can give some love to. But the guy that's, like, basically in charge, more or less, was somebody that was there for Grand Cross when it was that free-to-play friendly game, so I'm hopeful for a free-to-play friendly game in this. And the little bit we have seen shows they are doing similar alt animation kind of things to what Isekai Memories or Grand Cross does, or FGO does with like its Noble Phantasms. I'm just hoping the actual gameplay in and of itself is more in line with Grand Cross than, say, Isekai Memories. But I'm really hopeful. Out of the games on the watching list for the longest time, it was the game I'm most looking forward to, I'm most hopeful for. I'm expecting and hoping and looking forward to a really good game. I really want the game to be good. More mobile games based off of anime that I enjoy, that are fun, yes please. Games based off of the anime I love in general, yes please. So last section here of my mobile game library is, I just call it deleted. That does not mean these games are bad. That does not mean I did not enjoy these games. That means they are games that, for some reason or another, they were just replaced, as in I played other games that I enjoyed more, that just took over any playtime for them. They are games that I knew a lot about and tried out or downloaded to try out, and maybe I just wasn't able to give them a fair shake or a fair amount of time because I was playing too many games. I just want to emphasize that them being in this deleted section does not mean they're bad games, or that I'm saying they're bad games. It just means I may not have had the time to enjoy them or to play them or to give them a fair shake, or yeah, that's really it. I mean, that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy them. Heck, there are games in here that one day I might re-download and play and really, really love. And there are some games in here that I would even say have a lot of potential to be good games. So, who knows? Next time I do one of these videos, one of these may be up there in one of those upper categories. Who knows? So, I'm not going to talk about many of them, really. I did say there's another Black Clover game, Phantom Knights. Wouldn't recommend playing it. It's not that great. The My Hero game, I was really excited for it. I did play it when it came out. Unfortunately, the direction of the game, left a lot to be desired. And, I mean, if there's any other I would really talk about, don't play Sin No Alice. Record Keeper's fun. It's a really good game. I did not enjoy the direction the gameplay went myself, but I think if you're a Final Fantasy fan, definitely give it a shot. You might enjoy it. Blue Archive? Yeah, Blue Archive. Here it is. That's doing really well right now. A lot of people really enjoy it, so maybe give it a shot. I should maybe give it another shot, though I don't know if I will. Same can be said for Punching Grave Raven. Lord of Heroes has been around for a while, and I have been meaning to try and re-download it and see how it goes. I'm hopeful it's better, but not expecting too much. Some games like Re-Arise and Animesis have been shut down, so you can't go back to those. But they weren't games that I was playing, so I don't think they deserved that that honorable section there. And I will say some games I didn't even give a fair shake. Like the most prominent on here that I think I didn't give a fair shake to is probably Punishing Grey Raven and the Bungo Stray Dogs game here. So or the Eden Zero. I don't think I gave those fair shakes. I don't think I really gave them any time to see if I did enjoy them or not. So maybe I'll go back and give them a shot at some point. And again, any of these games can be good, are possibly good. So take like them being deleted with a grain of salt. I just may not have had the time to play all these games. There's already a lot of games up here, right? So maybe give these a shot. Maybe I'll go back and give these a shot. This does not reflect, this entire list, all of them, all the categories, does not reflect every mobile game I've looked at, I've tried, I've played, I've watched. It doesn't. There's probably still a lot more. Next time I do this list, maybe in another year, I don't know. maybe, you know, there'll be a bunch more games on here that have already come out by this point of this recording. So I've played a lot of games. I play a lot of games. I did this video and will probably continue to do this video because I'm always talking about mobile games, and I just kind of want to show what I am currently playing and or not playing or have played. So I think it's just kind of putting the information out there, and maybe it's showing you a game that you were curious about and you're like, well, hey, he played that, maybe try it. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. If you're curious about any of these games, because none of these have their titles, they just have, you know, the app icons, you can comment with like the row and placement here. I'll leave it up for a minute. It's been up for a bit, and I'll get you the name if you're curious, or maybe the app icon's all you need. That's cool enough there. But yeah, with all that said, this has been what I've been playing. This is my mobile gaming library as of May 2022. So I thank you for watching and appreciate you stopping by the channel. Hope you hit the subscribe button, because I do plan to put more videos out as time goes on, but at the very least, come on over to Twitch. Give me a follow on Twitch. Come hang out and stream. I do stream fairly regularly currently and would like to keep that up, so having more people to talk to is nice. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully see you over on Twitch. Link is to my left on the screen, but twitch.tv/ArchangelGM2. There's a 2 there at the end on Twitch. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.